he had snot running down out his nose. So, but we got that taken care of, and he stood good the other day. So I think he's ready.
So the fact that he did that with a cold, basically, and still came out of it okay. Now, training afterwards, you said stood him in the gate. How'd that go?
He stood good. I mean, he's ready. I mean, we kind of, when we first walked in there, he was kind of a little antsy, so we pulled the blinkers off and backed him out and then loaded him again, and he stood relaxed then. So,
Now, the Oklahoma Futurity, the first of the major futurities during the Remington Park season, followed later on by the Remington Park Futurity, then the Heritage Place Futurity on the final weekend. When do you start working with your trainers, and primarily trainer Eddie Willis, to get runners set for the season, but specifically Oklahoma Futurity? When do you have an off time, or does it just go from the fall right into this?
No, as soon as, like when we take horses to California, as soon as we get back from California, me and another jockey, David Pignon, we're back at it at the farm. So it's all year round.
Now, of course, the Remington Stable area opens about a month outside or a month before the racing season begins for training, and then training races, which are very important because the horse can learn a lot and the riders can learn a lot about their horses as well. You mentioned David Pignon. He's going to ride the one you decided not to. How does it work out if you make the wrong choice and his horse comes through and wins? How's that work between the two of you?
Well, I get 5%, so
Okay.
if I can't win, I hope he does.
Okay. So you've got it covered a little bit because you qualified the horse.
Yes.
Okay. So that's fair, I guess. So there's no wrestling match for bigger money down the road. Futurity night, you won 6 of those trials for trainer Eddie Willis. That helped propel you to the top of the standings. Was that your biggest night in your history winning races, or have there been others?
Well, parimutuel it has been, but when we used to run at Ada, non-parimutuel, but it was official. I was riding for Rodney Reed. We won 13 one day.
Out of how many trials?
Well, there was like 12 trials to the Poor Boy Futurity, and then 6 other trials. So, I mean, they run 20 races every Saturday, so
13 of 20, 65%, not bad.
not bad at all.
All right, so you currently, heading into this week, lead the standings, 12 wins to 8, not over G.R. Carter, which most people would think would be the person right behind you. Instead, it's Tony Bennett. Your thoughts on the early season standings race?
Well, I mean, GR, he's going to win. I mean, he rides a lot of them, so, I mean, he's going to win his fair share. So we just got to keep trying to win.
Now, you shared the title with him a couple of years back. We're about 1/5 into the season. When do you start? Let's go back a couple years ago, 3 years ago, when you shared the title. When did you start thinking about trying to win that title for the riding title?
Well, after I got hurt, and I was at a banquet, and I told GR, I said, I'm coming after your title. And he kind of laughed and looked at me, and, then as soon as we tied, he said, you called it. Remington and the Heritage.
Okay.
So.
Ever worry when he gets now he's 71 that he's still going at it a few races a year?
It used to, it didn't, but I mean, he's getting a little older, and after he got hurt the last time, I mean, which Eddie, he's not going to put him on nothing that's going to get, I mean, anywhere, it's going to hurt him.
And I remember talking with your dad, Roy. He said he was preference to 3-year-olds or older at this point, proven horses, not the unproven 2-year-olds, which probably a good move at that state. Okay, really quick, we were talking about Duck Dynasty. You're a big fan. Who's your favorite character?
Cy.
That's it? No? Really? No, what else?
Uh-huh.
No other choice?
Yeah, Cy's, I like Cy.
Now, is he, do you think he's acting, or is that real?
Well, from what I heard, that's pretty much them right there.
Well, if we can get the Racing Brookses of Blanchard to have a show half as successful as that, we'd all be doing really well.
Yes.
All right, well, good luck on Saturday night. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jimmy Brooks, leading rider through 7 days of this 50-day season here at Remington Park. 12 wins to 8. Tony Bennett in second. He's 4 ahead of Tony right now as we move to the third full weekend of activity this week. More on the quarter racing update coming up. Stay with us here from Remington Park. Coming up, we preview the Grade 2 Oklahoma Futurity. Leading rider Jimmy Brooks will stop by to talk about the big race and much more. We'll look back at the major stakes highlights so far this season.
Speed Horse Magazine, the industry's most widely read and respected magazine. Complete coverage of quarter horse racing and industry events. Sponsor of the Speed Horse Race Series. Visit speedhorse.com.
Somewhere there's music, I'll faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. There is no moon above when love's far away till it comes true. That you love me as I love you. Somewhere there's music, I'm near and far.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Quarter Racing Update, live with you from Remington Park. I'm Dale Day, joined now by Danielle Bryan, who's a very important segment and part of this show. She's with Racing Free, one of the sponsors of the Quarter Racing Update, and it's an organization that's picking up a lot of steam since it really got rolling last year, 2012. Danielle, thanks for coming along and being on. Give the statement for the Racing Free organization, what it is and what it's all about.
All right. Well, as you mentioned, Racing Free was created last year, and we are a membership-based organization designed to spotlight the positive happenings in racing while rewarding those that stand against performance-enhancing drugs in our sport. So we are just running a few different programs within Racing Free that will allow owners, trainers, jockeys, industry organizations to get involved and really stand against the performance-enhancing drug front.
Now, your organization has grown rather quickly. How many people are involved right now, from owners, trainers, individuals? How many do you have right now that are paying members, I guess?
Well, for the spring season coming up, we have about 68 members at tracks that are running across the country. We're mainly quarter horse. We do have a few thoroughbreds, and we encourage thoroughbreds to get involved. We have several corporate sponsors. AQHA is backing us. The RMTC is backing us. So some very important industry organizations have really jumped on board and embraced the Racing Free mission and organization and what we're trying to accomplish.
Now, explain, there's incentives involved.
Right.
How can owners and trainers become part of that to where they can get extra money basically for being part of a great organization?
Yeah, well, the first way that you can kind of get involved is through the Racing Free Incentive Program, and that runs at tracks across the country. So for $300 per horse per meet, you can enter your horse into the program as an owner. And anytime that horse wins a race and gets a clear commission level drug test, so anytime it passes the drug test, we will reward $1,500 for a $300 entry each time they win. So there is much potential as getting some young people involved, anybody from college kids to the young at heart that want to get involved in racing. We want Racing Free to be that outlet for information, social media utilizing, and just rallying for support for our sport.
Well, it's a great organization. We're very glad it's come into existence. Very positive talk, and we're very proud to have you here at Remington Park and on the Quarter Racing Update as well.
Yes, thank you so much. We're excited to be here.
Racing Free, you can see more about it at their website. Also, there's ads in the Remington Park Live Racing program. You'll see Danielle with us throughout the course of the season as well to talk more about the proceedings and the good news from Racing Free. We'll take another time out here on the Quarter Racing Update. Stay with us. Jesse Ullery will join us in a few moments with a lot more as we continue looking at this third weekend of the season and Oklahoma Futurity Night coming up this weekend, Saturday, March 23rd.
Speed Horse Magazine, the industry's most widely read and respected magazine. Complete coverage of quarter horse racing and industry events. Sponsor of the Speed Horse Race Series. Visit speedhorse.com.
Somewhere there's music, I'll faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. There is no moon above when love is far away too, till it comes true. Love you, love me, as I love you. Somewhere there's music, thunder and fall.
It's time now for Juniors Highlights Recap. March 10th, the $50,000 Eastex Handicap at 350 yards for 3-year-olds and up. Last year's winner, number 4, A Toss-Up, was the public's choice in the Grade 2 event, followed by the 10, Teller More Bourbon, and Zoomin' Kickin', the 7-horse. Dale Day has the call of the Eastex Handicap.
Solid start at the rail by Fast Prize Mike, a toss-up away cleanly as well. From the outside, You Follow Me, and also out there, Tullamore Bourbon growing for the front. Tullamore Bourbon on the lead now with Fast Prize Mike. Fast Prize Mike trying to come back. Here's You Follow Me with a late surge. To the line they come, and Fast Prize Mike gets the slide upset in the Eastex Handicap.
With G.R. Carter in the saddle, Fast Prize Mike takes the Grade 2 Eastex. You Follow Me finished second. Cool Country Man ran third. Trained by Steven Salazar, the Oklahoma bred is owned by Evelio Salazar. First Prize Mike stopped the clock at 17.276 seconds, a speed index of 98. Also on March 10th, multiple stakes winner and track record holder Cruisin' the Wagon went postward in the $50,000 Mighty Deck 3 Handicap. She was the second favorite behind Senior Fish, number 4, with Jose Montoya aboard. With the call, Dale Day.
They're off in the Mighty Deck 3 Handicap away sharply. Fast Prize Jordan grabs the early lead. Coming on now, Senior Fish from the far outside. Cruising the Wagon rolling along now on the lead late. Fast Prize Jordan still there. Late rally by Finch inside. Fast Prize Jordan takes the Mighty Deck 3 Handicap.
Fast Prize Jordan with G.R. Carter in the saddle. Victorious in the Mighty Deck 3 over Finch, Cruisin' the Wagon was third. Fast Prize Jordan is owned by Witona Stanley and William Smith. The colt covered the 250 yards for the final time, a 106 speed index. You can call Mr. Earl in the 2013 SLM Big Daddy. And that is the Juniors Highlights Recap. Juniors, Oklahoma City's ultimate dining experience since 1973. It's time.
Welcome back to the Quarter Racing Update. Dale Day along with Jesse Ullery now joining me from Will Rogers Downs. Jesse, one of the voices in Oklahoma racing for many, many years, and now not just a voice, but a guy that gets to meet a lot of other people in your new current endeavors, the Director of Racing at Will Rogers.
Correct. Yeah, I moved to that position in February the 7th is when I started, and we're already, as you guys are, 3 weeks into our meet and having a lot of success up there. It's a different role for myself, but one that I enjoy right now.
All right. But something you haven't given up, because even though you move away from microphone, you still have to look at races for maybe a different reason as the Director of Racing, but you can still handicap a little bit and talk about what's going on at other racetracks aside from your own. The Oklahoma Derby coming up, the Quarter Horse Derby on Saturday night on the undercard for the Futurity. Solid race for 3-year-olds. The 3-year-old group for the Derby continues to grow. This race just less than 4 or 5 years ago. It was only about 3 trials. We had 6 the opening weekend for Oklahoma Derby to get set for this final coming up on Saturday night. So it's a good thing to see these 3-year-olds coming back. The purse gets bigger and bigger. It's $136,000. Your thoughts on this race Saturday night?
Well, and you mentioned that the talent pool continues to grow here in Oklahoma as a whole. You know, we've been fortunate to see that. I have anyway for the past 6 years, and you have for a little bit longer than that. But the talent pool is continuing to grow, and it's moving over to the 3-year-olds series now, and that's good to see. The Derby horses, you know, if you get a 2-year-old that doesn't progress quite as it should, you have the opportunity with the races here in Oklahoma, especially at all 3 of the racetracks, with some lucrative Derby purses. And I'm telling you, the talent pool in the Oklahoma Derby is nothing short. I mean, there are 10 fantastic horses in this race. Wade Helton has Lano Cartel, who's the fastest qualifier. Also snuck another one in with Colby Cartel, so he's fortunate this year. But really, from top to bottom in this race, it is probably one of the best Derby fields you're going to see, especially this early in the year.
The race at 350 yards for 3-year-olds. We'll take a look at some of the qualifying runs. You mentioned They're off. Good start for High Class Vodka at the rail sharp. A rare chick in between runners right there. Lano Cartel making a bid on the outside. Carter's Secret is now 4th. It's Lano Cartel on top by a good half length. High Class Vodka with a ton of work to do. Not getting there yet. Holding on in the last yards, it is Lano Cartel doing it by neck.
Effort in that race, and from my standpoint, especially in trials, when horses have to come back in 2 weeks, ideal distance, I think, fits better for high-class vodka. But I think Big Boy, if he gets away well, could be well suited in this race.
You hit on some key points. It's not all. It is about the time of getting into the race, but once you're in there and you think you have enough, if you did it easily, that's a key instead of being asked for more.
Absolutely, and Jimmy would have been able to talk a little bit about that more. But with 6 trials, it's at a point where it's a little bit dicey on time. You don't really want to conserve a whole lot because you do have to have enough left over to qualify for the race. But I do think that with that race being a little bit easier on Big Boy, it's going to help him out, especially with the 2-week turnaround. That's always a problem that trainers have to face, and whether or not they can have that repeat performance. So even though that the fastest time went to Lano Cartel, he's a very accomplished horse in his own right. However, I just think the Big Boy coming back after a little bit easier race, and it's not like Lano Cartel ran a tough race against a horse that didn't have credentials. High Class Vodka is a very well-credentialed horse, so if it was a little bit lesser competition, I might have given him a free pass, but Big Boy just was so impressive in that.
It was very impressive. The Oklahoma Quarter Horse Derby coming up on the undercard Saturday night for the Oklahoma Futurity. The Derby's worth $136,000. Continues to grow, and the 2-year-olds coming back the following year for that race is very key to the success of the series, but also to the 3-year-old crop here at Remington Park and as they move through the entire Oklahoma racing season. We'll take another timeout. Jesse, by the way, welcome aboard and congratulations on the new job, and we'll look forward to seeing you on big race days here during the Quarter Racing Update.
Absolutely. I'll be on the special edition shows. I believe there's 5 of them, the weekend shows.
Park season will cover the action week to week. As Jesse mentioned, he'll be along for special editions during weekend race dates for some of the bigger races throughout the course of the season later on down the road. This Remington Park season continues until Sunday, June 2nd. Feature event this weekend, as I've mentioned many times, the Oklahoma Futurity card on Saturday, March 23rd. Later on March 30th, the Leo Stakes, the older horses stepping up in big purse money, $100,000 event there. Then in mid-April, we'll have the $750,000 Oklahoma Futurity. That one for the registered Oklahoma breds. That's become a big event in the last few years. And, of course, as futurities go, the trials for the Heritage Place Futurity in early May, leading to the $1 million final on the final weekend of the season on Saturday, June 1st. So a lot to go here in 2013 at Remington Park, and we look forward to seeing you throughout the course of the year. The racing news, we need to give some props. The Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association recently held their annual awards banquet and meeting in Tulsa at the Hard Rock Casino. And while there, Carl Peavyhouse, top breeder and owner in Oklahoma racing for many, many years, pride of Ratliff City, Oklahoma, he picked up most of the hardware. He won 9 awards overall at that awards banquet in Tulsa. And the top horse from the Oklahoma Horse Racing Commission through 2012 was a toss-up, receiving the honors there as the Horse of the Year from the OHRC. So congratulations to everyone who was recognized at the Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association annual ceremony and awards banquet in Tulsa just a couple of weeks ago. And the bell rings. That means it's time for wrapping up the Quarter Racing Update here at Remington Park for the first edition. Live racing picks up at 6 p.m. on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Remington Park, 1:30 on Sunday afternoons. A lot happening throughout the course of the season. We hope you get to join us many times at Remington Park. For all involved, I'm Dale Day. Good luck.